Hello boys and girls, it's time to do a special Ask Guillem because there's a special game ahead of us, isn't it? El Clásico on Sunday, the last game of the fixture list of the weekend, which I'm sure you'll be watching. Let's start with Noor Hamad. He says, do you think El Clásico lose defeat, I imagine, will end Zidane's era or will he resign if he loses? We're getting used to a big drama after a big defeat when actually Zidane and Real Madrid have been, at least this season, more about calmness after the storm. I think everybody realizes that Real Madrid haven't got what it takes to win perhaps the biggest competitions. They realize that they're not scoring goals as they should. In fact, I think it's only 3 goals in the last 13 games for Benzema, amazing, and 3 goals in 25 for Bale. Jovic hasn't been scoring much or playing much either, and Vinicius is 3 in 37 games. With that, you cannot really win the biggest competitions. So they know the weaknesses, they know what they have to do next, and you know what is next to try to convince Mbappe to come to Real Madrid, perhaps not next season, but the season after. Meanwhile, it's about doing the best they can with what they've got. They have put a lot of emphasis in the league, and of course a defeat against Barcelona will put the league 5 points away. But there's still a lot of competition to play for. In fact, Real Madrid is aware that both sides will drop points. They're not at the best. And after a defeat at the Bernabeu, by the way, it seems to be the trend. It will be the 5th consecutive win of Barcelona at the Bernabeu if that happens. And this season, everybody seems to get points at the Bernabeu, almost everybody. In the Champions League, they're only won once at home in the Champions League. Anyway, what I'm saying is that basically there is enough reasons for everybody to realize that Real Madrid is not at the best and no time, right now anyway, to make big decisions, especially about the coach. LX Lionel, he says, do you think Valverde deserves to start over any of Madrid's midfielders, and what does he offer that Kroos, Modric and Casemiro don't have besides speed? He's got much more than speed. He covers a lot of ground, certainly. He does have speed. He can shoot from outside the box. He can find a pass in an inside channel. He can get into the box as well. And it is so crucial for Real Madrid, and they don't have players getting into the box. Look at the game. A lot of the time, they touch the ball around the box, nobody inside the box, no reference for anybody. Well, that it can be good if you come from the second line, from the midfield position, and surprise, that's good, and that's what Casemiro does. But it would be much better if they had somebody there, number 9, that can distract and take away some of the defenders. In any case, Casemiro will play, Valverde will play, and then it will be a thing between Kroos and Modric. My suspicion is that Kroos didn't play against City, which probably will mean that he'll start the Clásico. A disappointed Kroos because he felt that he did not know why he wasn't playing, and that's a little bit the difference between Manchester City and Real Madrid. Manchester City had a plan in case Vinicius played more central or played wide, had a plan in case the midfield was a diamond shape or in a different shape of Real Madrid, had a plan depending who played. For Real Madrid, it was about putting players together, trusting their ability to resolve situations, and Kroos was upset because he didn't know why he wasn't playing. How can a player not know why he wasn't playing? If there was a plan, he would know. If the plan is just get the best players on the pitch, then it's difficult to know what basically is the intentions of the manager. So I think he offers much more than only just speed. Udaigu Depu, 34, says, why do you think both Barcelona and Real Madrid are struggling to reach finals in the Champions League? There's a lot of reasons, but quite clearly in recent times, PSG and City have changed the rules. Before, the big clubs will always be on the edge of what should or shouldn't be allowed. But basically, they all respected that the rules. With PSG and City, what happens is they put they push the boundaries, and they've done it with money. We will know soon if that was legal or illegal, the way they did it, but in any case, I'm not getting into that. What I'm getting into is that now Barcelona and Real Madrid have to do things differently. They have to be more creative with what they do. They cannot go and get the best players in the world at the moment, not 2 or 3 or 4 at the same time. So without that lack of quality, you suffer. It takes you longer to get into Champions League finals. But by the way, Real Madrid won 4 out of 5 not so long ago. But you can see that they're both struggling to maintain the levels of quality, and that is down to 2 eras that were so successful that perhaps haven't been overcome yet. Big decisions should have been taken in both camps, but haven't. So some of the veterans are still there. And the replacements, or what's coming next, is not clear and is not as strong as what it was. So I think that's a little bit explains why this is happening. It makes it for a good and competitive competition anyway, and at least in the league. 2 points separating both. Taiwo Peter 01 says, do you think Barcelona can sign Neymar and Lautaro together in the summer? Not specifically Champions League, but I do think that Barcelona are going to go for Neymar, even though he's just taking them to court for the 3rd or 4th time just this week, because he reckons that they should have paid him 6.5 million euros more down to the transfer situation when he came to Barcelona. I just wonder if that's a strategy as well to try to force Barcelona's hand, and of course if there is an agreement for Neymar to come back and Barcelona, the directors, the players, the top players as well, would like that to happen. Maybe it's a point to say, I'll tell you what, that those court cases, we can drop them if we can sort something out here. In any case, that will be a priority. Lautaro Martinez will be absolutely fantastic for Barcelona. I don't think they'll be able to just get both at the same time. There will be a huge amount of money that will require. Barcelona haven't got that kind of money. On the other hand, they've got players that if they sold for at least a little bit of what they bought them for, maybe they could just raise some money that way. But I'm thinking of Coutinho, who will return to Barcelona, but who's going to pay 100 million for him? So I don't think it's going to be possible to get both. And I do think you may be surprised with what Braithwaite is going to add to Barcelona. He's got a long contract because they see the potential in helping Luis Suarez when he's not there, and helping Messi as well. So Lautaro would be great to have it at Barcelona. Messi had said it himself, but I think the priority is to put the financial weight into Neymar. So we've got a question here from La Vikingos saying, what do you think will happen in the summer if Real Madrid doesn't win the league or the Champions League? Will they have a massive overhaul, rebuild? Now the thing is, they already at it in terms of overhaul and rebuild. They're already trying to get the new Neymar, and that's why they spent 60 million on Rodrigo and 60 million on Vinicius and 30 million on Reiner. The idea is to get a top Brazilian that actually can develop at the club, but that's a new policy, isn't it? Can you really get to your best when you're a youngster with the pressure of being at Real Madrid when you are at that club? Can you? It's something that hasn't really taken shape yet. They tried with Ceballos, with Marco Asensio. Marco Asensio, of course, injured for 7 months, coming back soon. But we haven't seen a Marco Asensio that is taking the world by storm, and it looked like he was on the way to doing that. It's difficult to grow at Real Madrid when you are 17, 18, 19. You see the difficulties that Vinicius is having, for instance. But the rebuilding is there, the idea is there, and then of course with the arrival of Mbappé, which they're convinced they'll get, that will help Real Madrid to reach new heights. So I don't think it'll be nothing drastic in the summer because the process has already started. Keisani 4 says, can Real Madrid bounce back and beat Barcelona? This is the Clásico. Anything can happen, but it's not by chance that Barcelona have gone to the Bernabeu and actually get 4 victories in a row. It's not by chance. They know how to control games, have known how to control games for a while. The problem with this Clásico is a little bit like it happened in the first leg. Both sides don't want to lose, and they seem to be more scared of what they haven't got than wanting to show off what they have got. So I think it'll be a conservative Clásico. As I said, Real Madrid have learned from Manchester City, which in a way play a little bit to Barcelona, that they cannot expose themselves, because if they do, it could be damaging. And if that is the case, then you'll see the fullbacks not going forward, the centre-backs going deeper, the midfielders trying to be compact and as well close to the centre-backs, and at Real Madrid they won't be as brave as has been in the past. So all in all, this could be another draw, I'm afraid. It could be. Let's see. Hider El Bahiti Says, what's wrong with Hazard this season? With Chelsea, he missed only 17 games in 7 seasons. With Real Madrid, he has missed already 18 and more. Because, of course, he probably will return at the end of the season. 2 months is at least what is calculated, but nobody said anything officially. And it's not to do with being at Real Madrid. It has to do with his injury, with his bones in his ankle. He's got a titanium plaque there that hasn't protected him properly. They decided after he had a hairline break, after Mourier, the PSG player, tackled him, they decided to have a conservative approach to that injury, which meant like it would just get solidify on its own without the need of an operation. And I think the proof is in the pudding. He has got injured again in the same area. That's his weak point, and the suggestion now and what they have to decide is if he's going to get operated or not. If he gets operated, it's 2 months. If he's not, the risk is that he could break again. So let's see what decision is taken, because of course he'll be thinking of the European Championships. He'll be thinking of a league competition in which he could be needed and necessary. And of course he's one of the players taking Real Madrid to the next level, isn't it? So decision will be made soon, and we'll see what that's taken. But it's unlucky, isn't it? Somebody that hardly had got injured in his career. PC Campbell 00 says, a perhaps obvious one, but how much pressure from board and fans will there be on Zidane if an El Clásico defeat at home, opening at 5-point gap in the league, is followed by a quarter-final Champions League exit? And it's possible that could happen. And that happens after, 3 weeks ago, we were seeing Real Madrid at the top of the table, playing well, and then they lost against Real Sociedad at the Santiago Bernabéu in the Cup, 3-4, and the whole team collapsed. In three last games have been defeats. In fact, in the last 6, only 1 victory. Even Celta have a draw against Real Madrid. Only, 7 goals conceded in the last 3. As I said earlier, with strikers that don't score, defenders that concede. All in all, it's a team that is on the verge of collapsing, and it's possible that they lose against Barcelona, and it's possible that they get knocked out against City, in brackets. If anybody can turn that around, it's Real Madrid, by the way. Against the logic, against the tide, but they can do it. They don't have Cristiano Ronaldo, makes it harder, but everything is possible. Anyway, if that happens, question marks will be put out there. As you know, and we mentioned in different platforms, Jose Mourinho was waiting for his chance to actually make it as a manager of Real Madrid, but then Zidane started winning games. This was this season, hence Jose Mourinho accepting the move to Spurs. But there is not an automatic choice of who could replace Zidane. In fact, the idea is Zidane to stay longer and to actually get stronger players to get Real Madrid to compete again. That will be the target, not a big drama, and to keep going on the progression or the process that they started of rebuilding this side. It will be, though, the end of an era, and we'll have to see what happens with Modric, with Marcelo, with the contract of Sergio Ramos. He wants 2 years, Real Madrid only offer 1. With Benzema, would he be an automatic starter? Who will play next to him? Decisions that have to be taken in the summer. But it is possible they're on the verge of disaster. Mohamed Choddad is saying, why did Barca sign Braithwaite on a 4.5-year deal when the need is only until the end of the season? Is it though? Luis Suarez obviously is out with an injury. He'll be back in about a couple of months. Will take some part at the end of the season. But Braithwaite is a striker that they needed. Let's see if he can maintain the level that he showed in his first game. He touched the ball 7 times, gave an assist, could have scored, and kept running in behind, was caught offside 0 times. So was doing what Barcelona needs to do more often, what Griezmann was asked to do, and perhaps he's not so happy doing. So with him in the side, and Griezmann in between the lines, more towards the left, Messi in between the lines, more towards the right, I think it will be a better Barcelona. Luis Suarez will come in, will probably start, but I think Braithwaite will be just very important to Barcelona. Anyway, I hope you watch El Clásico. I hope you enjoyed this Ask Guillem. There'll be another one coming soon, of course. That will be post-Clásico. That will be at the beginning of next week. And meanwhile, hasta luego.